We are going to cover a lot of different things in today's show.
That's right.
Yes. When you think about what makes somewhere affordable to live, the cost of living, some of the things that come to mind are the average home price, and with that, comes the average rent price, income taxes, property taxes. These are all things to take into consideration, and we are going to be talking about all of that today. But first, I just wanted to give a little bit of background and share kind of why we decided to talk about this today. So 2020 has dramatically changed the way that we work. 56% of Americans say that they plan to move in 2021 compared to just 35% that moved in 2020. And the workplace is undergoing the largest scale remote work experiment in history, with nearly 7 in 10 workers doing their jobs from home.
Wow.
More people I know, I don't know about you, but more people I know than are working from home than not. And a lot of their workplaces are saying they're not even going to go back.
That's the same thing I get. I say, when do you think it's going to go back to normal? They said, there's really no intent at this point.
Right. So many businesses are just deciding to get rid of the lease or lease a smaller place for their workplaces because they've realized they can save a lot of money doing that, and it's saving them a ton of money having people work from home.
And they're just as productive. Production.
Over 15.9 million people have moved during the coronavirus, according to USPS data, which is basically people changing their permanent primary residence addresses. So according to this data, larger cities lost the most amount of residents during the pandemic, which is, kind of, it makes sense. Basically, we have kind of become relocation specialists over the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
We work with a ton of out-of-state clients, people who are relocating to our area, Salem, Oregon, because of what I like to call the Great Relocation. People basically, like we said, being able to work from anywhere now due to working from home. And we get to talk on the phone and do Zoom and FaceTime meetings with people from all over, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, that's been really fun. The
awesome.
Zoom and then actually the showings have been really fun, because I believe you and I do showings for out-of-state clients like nobody else.
I just did one right before we came here. Did a video walkthrough from a family moving from the other side of the country. So we're having a ton of fun with that. But one of the things that I hear all the time that I just had a client tell me was, Mariah, we love where we live, but my wife and I work all the time just to be able to live here. And the reason we want to move is now because we're able to work from anywhere, we want to be able to have more work-life balance, and we want to be able to work less and enjoy our lives more. And if we move to Salem, we'll be able to do that because the cost of living in Salem is a lot less than where we're currently living. And so although the point I'm trying to make is that although a lot of people are moving to Salem because it is more affordable for them, I know a lot of you listening on the radio are in Salem, and you might be wanting to move somewhere else because obviously there's a lot of places that are more affordable than Salem. And so maybe you're in that same boat, except you're the one here that wants to sell their house. And so if that's you, and even if that's not you, I hope that you keep on listening, and I hope that you can grab some sort of value from this, whether you're in that situation where you're thinking about relocating or not. We hope that you find this show interesting.
Yeah.
That was a very long intro.
Well, you need that intro, though, because this is a big topic. I mean, the Great Relocation. As you
2020,
say, I love
2021.
that. I love that, by the way. It doesn't relate to everybody. But for some people, and for a lot of people right now, here in Oregon and even the Mid-Willamette Valley, that's what I'm getting. When I'm entering those listing appointments, I'm saying, hey, what's your next move? How do we get you from point A, your current home, to point B, and where are you headed? And in that listing appointment, they tell me. And some of them, you're exactly right. They're moving to more rural settings, out of state, Wyoming,
or just more
Montana, just more affordable living. And some of them, they're even saying, hey, I'm sick of the city. I'm sick of these high taxes. Get me somewhere outside of this boundary. And they can even purchase with a USDA home loan, zero down programs. Now with lending, there's becoming a lot more zero down programs. So if that's you, connect with us, leave a comment, and we'll connect you with a great lender to get you in that situation you're needing to be in.
And another thing to add is if that might not be you wanting to pick up and relocate your family and start a new life somewhere else, but maybe you want to invest your money and you're looking at areas. This could definitely be something places to consider when it comes to out of state rental properties or investments in other parts of the country. Definitely keep on listening because we're going to cover, like I said, we're going to cover all that. So where are you seeing your clients? Most of them in our area in Salem, where are you seeing a lot of your clients moving to right now? Yeah,
so if you're not moving out of state, that's totally fine. A lot of my clients, like I said, they're just kind of wanting a different location, not necessarily in the city. Even if they're in Northeast Salem area or West Salem, they want to be more rural. Maybe it's 10 minutes out of the city. Their taxes are going to be a lot lower, which I'm hearing a lot of complaint about. There's like every year my taxes go up and up and up, and I get it, that's inevitable with taxes, but they need to be lower, and that's some type of adjustment I think we got to work on as a state. But besides that point, they want to be in rural setting boundaries to where it's more affordable living, smaller town, but also you're so close to town it's like being in town. And so the hard part is finding that balance of what property is available for you. And in our listing appointments, we discuss and go through all those options. So if you're holding back from selling because you can't find a replacement property, give us a call. We need to discuss that in our listing appointment. And we actually have strategies and game plans on how we can actually find you the right piece of property, but we got to get your home sold to get it. But if you're moving to Oregon, that's what I'm seeing. Their property taxes, sadly, politics, they're just sick of it. And so when we get into that subject, that's when they're moving out of state a lot of times. My people, like I said, they've been going to Wyoming, Montana,
I'm seeing a lot
Colorado,
in North Carolina, South Carolina. There's, we'll get to all this
Nevada. The taxes are just completely different, and even Washington. And so that's what I hear a lot about when it's more out of state. It's more geared towards politics and the direction our state's headed. So, and these are lifelong Oregonians here, which it breaks my heart. I'm an Oregonian full and through, born in Salem, Mariah, you as well. But, that's people, and we need to continue to grow as a community and educate each other and kind of just be as one, right? We're stronger as one. A tight-knit fist, not an open hand. Okay.
Real quick before we quick plug before we go to break. If you are listening to this over the radio, be sure to check out our YouTube channel called Real Estate with Mariah and Spenc, same name as our show, where you can actually go back and listen to all of our previous episodes, all the previous shows we've done. We've talked about a lot of awesome topics, so definitely go check that out and listen to them on your commute to work tomorrow. We are going to share what states have the highest average home prices and what state has the lowest average home price. And something that I think is really cool is that right now, for the first time ever, you can keep the same, for the most part, so many people are able to keep the same income and take that income and move somewhere and be able to go so much further with their money, because before they would be like, well, say I moved to Texas, my income's going to drop because, average home prices are lower, but so is the cost of living and the average income and all of that. But now, for the most part, a lot of people are able to keep that same job and income and just work remotely from home anyway and make the same amount and buy a much cheaper home somewhere else. So,
and that's what's so awesome about this great relocation.
They're great relocation.
And it's so new. 2020, 2021. We've never had this in our lives, guys. Seriously, everything's online. If we have internet access, we can work from home.
Yeah.
And you can keep that same job and you can keep that same current employment. Well, guess what that does? That keeps you with lending laws. You have that same employer, and it doesn't hold you back from getting a loan in a different state. You just need a verification of employment. And that's the key right now. Keep those same jobs and get that verification of employment, and you get to keep that same rate living in a different state that's income is completely lower than maybe you currently are at. If you're even in California, move to Texas. We'll get that later on. Move to Oregon.
I think that's awesome.
You can literally go anywhere. And that's what's so cool about this. So if you are in that work and home position, this completely fits you. So take note.
All right, so we are going to take a look at real estate in 3 vastly different markets. I chose 3 capitals in the capitals of 3 different states. And we're going to see how vastly different the prices are in these areas, just to give a little contrast.
And I have not done this with Mariah, so this is an eye-opener for me.
These are real homes for sale. Looked them up this morning. So the first place we are going to look at is Sacramento, California. So in Sacramento right now, you can get a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot home that was built in 1960 and never been updated, not the best side of town, for $360,000. And keep in mind, you know, if something's at $360,000, we're seeing bidding wars on pretty much everything, so it's likely going to sell for much more than that.
This is 1960. We're talking plumbing, electrical, I mean, interior. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
The second place we are going to look at is Salem, Oregon, of course. For $310,000 in Salem, you can get a very similar home, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot, small yard, built in 1980 and never been touched as far as updates go. And, you know, same rule applies if it's listed at $310, you know it's going to sell for much more than that because it's going to have bidding wars.
15 to 20,000 over.
At least. Yeah. So the third place we're going to look at is Dallas, Texas. In Dallas, Texas, for $210,000, you can get an absolutely stunning home, beautiful kitchen cabinets, beautiful floors, 1,700 square foot, 4 bedrooms.
What?
Great location right in the heart of Dallas.
1,700 square foot.
$210,000.
And it's completely updated, remodeled, 4 bedrooms.
4 bedrooms.
That's what everybody's been wanting lately.
A dream.
Wow. I'm going to Dallas.
4 bedrooms is hard to find. Have a handful of clients, and 4 bedrooms is like one of the main criterias because they are like large families, and it's so hard finding a home with 4 bedrooms. Like,
let's take a train.
Even at a higher price point, you take a train.
Seriously, can we take a train to Dallas? Let's jump on. Let's get a little family time on this train, and bam, let's go there. Let's go check it out. That's awesome though. $210,000. Vastly different pricings compared to Oregon and California. But
can you find anything for $210?
No, there's
a piece
nothing.
of bare land, maybe.
There's nothing. That's unbelievable.
So the lowest average home price I found was in West Virginia, of all places. Okay. And the average price in West Virginia was $107,000, which It's kind of unbelievable.
I'm kind of speechless on that
one. It's also West Virginia, so there's probably a reason, why it's so low. To me, I'd rather pay more and live where I like to live and live where I want to live. But
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the average. That's the lowest average home price in the
United
country
States
at this point in time.
Okay.
Could change soon. And the highest was Hawaii, of course. I'm sure no one's surprised by that. And that was $700,000 average. So you could get just about the same thing in Hawaii for $700,000 that you could get in West Virginia for $107,000. But you're also not going to get to live on the beach, or the Hawaii beach.
Our
so
dream.
It's a little different. Yeah.
Everybody's dream.
All right. So, top places people are moving to. Where are people moving? Everyone's moving in 2021, but where are they going to? What we're seeing as realtors is, and what I'm hearing from other realtors that we network with and talk with all over the country, are pretty much the same thing. The hot spots right now are suburbs outside of the city, which is why one reason I think Salem is so hot for people moving here, because it's not a far drive from Portland, but they don't really want to be right inside the city anymore. So Salem is growing a lot because of that.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about the lowest and the highest income taxes. There's actually 7 states with no income taxes at all.
Out of the 50?
Yes. Did you know that? Out of the 50. And these are Wyoming, Washington State, which I actually didn't know that. Washington had no income taxes. Texas, South Dakota, Nevada, which is another place we're seeing a lot of people moving from Oregon to Nevada because
Nevada.
It's so close to us and, no income taxes. Florida and Alaska. And property taxes, that's something to take into consideration when you're talking about affordability. And property taxes aren't set only at a state level. Some cities, counties, and local school boards even impose these taxes. So they might be higher in one area of town than another. for example, here in Salem, or the Salem area, in South Salem, you're going to be paying much higher property taxes than if you were in, say, the Hayesville area in North Salem, or if you were to buy a house in Almsville. You could probably afford more for your money because of property taxes.
Yeah.
It's going to lower your payment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In states with the lowest property taxes, this is our last part of the segment. States with the lowest property taxes. Take note: Louisiana, Hawaii, Alabama, and South Carolina. Wow, those are I mean, those states, if you want to move there, you kind of have to have a rhyme or a reason. Honestly, it's not going to be a lot of times a city life or anything like that. It's kind of going to be family relocation, that aspect. So, but those are definitely some states to check out if you're wanting lower property taxes.
Yeah. Do you have any tips? Because this is something we've been seeing a lot of people who are moving to another state, and maybe they're selling their house. And do you have any tips for anyone for getting their offer accepted when they're moving to another state? I know I just kind of threw that one on you.
Yeah, that was a good one. So
on the spot.
So I'm working with a buyer and I'm trying to get their offer accepted. A biggie, if it's an out of state, coming competitive, obviously, but then also we got to re-educate ourselves on that market. So say they're from California, we got to educate them on this Oregon Salem's market, and then we got to actually take in consideration the year built with the house that we're looking to write an offer on, because that can affect our inspection date deadlines, our releasing of earnest money, and also we can also throw in an appraisal cost, because say we have X amount of dollars, but the house won't appraise for that. Well, we can always say, hey, we're willing to pay this much amount in cash at closing over that appraisal value to get it to close. So that makes those sellers a little bit more money than they would accepting just another offer. But that's just simple little tricks that we could throw out there.
I think that over appraised value is a huge thing. If you're able to do that, obviously you have to have cash, but if you're able to do that, that is going to make your offer so much stronger, because not a lot of agents know about that right now, and not a lot of buyers are willing to do that. So
look different. That's all I got to say. Well, we've gone over valuable places here in the United States. What's where it's good to move to, what's not. Property taxes, we discussed that. But one thing we've never really talked about on this show yet is fraud and how it's everywhere. We hear it all the time, how money is stolen out of the accounts. Sadly, across the country, it's happened more and more and more. So we really got to educate people and just say, be super careful when it comes to wiring instructions, because think about it, you're wiring over at times $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 to purchase your home. And if for whatever reason you got contacted to change your wire instructions to a different account, and it's sometimes overseas, you're not going to see that money. So you really want to be careful and work closely with your realtor, us, and our escrow officer, which while we're in escrow with, you just want to be cautious. And if you have any eerie feelings or eye openers, just say, hold on, and ask us what to do, and we're going to guide you through it, because there is fraud everywhere. Now, on the point of fraud, I want to also talk about a situation that I was told about with a client of mine this week, and it came to the subject of a trustee. Now, a lot of people have trustees for inheritance, time after once we pass away. Where's the estate going to be left with, or who's the estate going to be left with? But sadly, through the story, my heart really got broke, because sadly, she had this friend for over 20 years, and she put her head of her trust, and the friend actually ended up stealing a lot of money from her. And it's because she wasn't homeless or jobless or anything. She just had a spending problem, and her friend didn't know about it. And sadly, she just kept stealing small amounts here and there, and after the end, it was over $15,000 stolen out of her accounts, and she really couldn't do much about it legally. And so my advice is, once setting up a trust account, and just when you're setting up those things, please have legal representation, do it right, lawyer present, and select wisely. Okay? And I know everybody has this friend for over 20 plus years, but you'll notice people change when it comes to money. And their personalities, they get a little greedy sometimes, and you really want to be wise and select wisely when setting up trusts and trustees and those type of things. So my heart went out to one of my clients that told me that story. So that's a real life situation and a reality for some. So please be aware, fraud is everywhere, whether it's your wiring instructions, setting up trusts, inheritance. That's fraud. If people are stealing from you, that's fraud. So it is out there. And then secondly, let's talk about the listing of the week. We got an awesome one for you. It's in Kaiser, Oregon. It's 1637 Trent Avenue, and it's built in 2018. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,200 square foot. It's actually 2,223 square foot to be exact.
Specific.
But it's built in 2018, and it's a 2-story home. There's a bedroom on the bottom floor for your mother-in-law with a bathroom right next to it, open layout, area combination kitchen. But then the really cool part about this property is it's a complete smart home. It has data, it has extra outlets. The electrical on this home, I've never seen anything like it. And that's due to the seller himself. He's in the tech industry as well as privacy. He has cameras and all those things all set up to make it smart home related, Alexa, everything is, and it's staying with the property. He has an 82-inch TV in the front living room. In just about every room, there's a TV mounted on the wall. And these are custom mounts and custom TVs to fit these locations, and they're staying with the property. So we're talking like 7+ TVs to stay with this property, flat screens, beautiful. And then the back patio, it's all hardwired to where you have surround sound. This is throughout the house, by the way, not just the patio. You have surround sound for music, having people over and that type of stuff. And it's all covered. So one of the best listings in Kaiser. It's 1637 Trent Avenue here in Kaiser. Give us a call.
That's it for this week. Thank you for listening to Mariah and Spenc.
It's Real Estate with Mariah and Spenc on 1430 KYKN.
I'm Mariah.
And I'm Spenc.
We're your local real estate couple, and we're bringing you all the answers to everything involved with real estate every Saturday morning at 9:30.
If you have questions about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, either now or in the future, we'll be discussing it all on a local perspective.
So be sure to tune in to Mariah and Spenc every Saturday at 9:30 and become real estate savvy right here on 1430 KYKN,
where Salem is listening.